Control is an illusion. This is one of the biggest tricks of the ego. It tries to convince you that in particular, it tries to convince you that you have control, but what it's really trying to do is convince you that it has control. And of course, it wants control. It knows it's impermanent. It doesn't understand anything beyond the material realm, the physical experience. Just doesn't. It doesn't know anything else. Your spirit, deep inside of you, knows that you go somewhere else after this life. That your spirit is eternal. The ego is not. And so it's immortal. It exists here only in this physical environment, this physical existence in this life. And it knows that, and it's terrified of what happens next. And it's super scared and wants to really try to control everything because it doesn't understand the flow of the universe. And how could it? So some say that we actually die twice every life. And this side note, maybe this has something to do with the resurrection story in the Bible. I think it's an interesting concept. Maybe I'll cover that in a different video. But some say that there are two deaths that happen in life. One is the death of the ego, and the second is the death of the physical body. And for many people, this happens at the same time, near the end of life. The ego finally lets go and is gone, and then the physical body leaves. For the enlightened, however, those that have gone through a spiritual awakening, those that have put in the work, understand the wisdom that the ego is impermanent and that its stories are crazy, the monkey mind, and that we should endeavor as early in our lives as we can to quiet the ego, to kill the ego. I don't really like that phraseology, ego death. I don't really like it, but to lessen its impact on our experience. If you don't intentionally control your experience, and again, I know it's weird, control, but the control that you have is the control of your emotions and the control of the ego trying to exert its own control on the external world, right? If you don't have an intentional existence, then the ego will just dominate it all. And I guarantee you will not, over time, like that experience, like the sequence of events that happen in your life. So the earlier that you can conquer, in a sense, the ego, the easier it is. Ego gets fully formed around the age of 7, give or take. I had my awakening in my 40s, and it's very painful. The longer the ego has to root itself, the more difficult it is to release yourself from its control. So one example is I was helping someone very dear to me recently on part of a journey towards the next step in her life. Big steps. There's lots of worry and stress and what if and should I and could I, like second guessing, all of that kind of activity. Did any of it help? Does any of it ever help? No, doesn't. Does not help at all. But that's the ego trying to control. And my argument was, what's for you is already destined for you. You can do whatever you want to try to change the outcomes. It's going to happen no matter what. What's meant for you is meant for you. Not to be overly nihilistic about it, but what's meant for you is divinely intended and in fact is destiny. So I saw somebody I think like just this week said, it was a quote, and I wish I had attribution for it. There are only two, and I'm going to butcher it. There are only 2 days in life that you cannot live: yesterday and tomorrow. So can you live today filled with joy, focused on the journey, without concern for the destination, and release all the control on the outcome? That's what the universe is asking each of us to do.